Hi, I'm Allison Trimble with Willfully Guided Horsemanship. We're very excited to be working with the Ranch Sorting National Championships in bringing clinics and ranch sortings to a town near you. And we've been doing a lot of clinics here. We're in Santa Rosa at Critter Creek Ranch right now and just got done with a great clinic series the last 2 weekends. And one of the most common things that people say to me when they come to the clinics is, my horse has never seen a cow. How do I first start introducing my horse to cattle? And you know, this is a little bit different situation than introducing your horse to one single cow. And I like to go about it in a very specific way, keeping in mind the things that I know about horses and know about cattle. The first thing that I do is I like to move the cattle as a whole, as a herd. And what I'm trying to teach my horse here, this is a 3-year-old gelding that's actually been on cattle a little bit, but this is, you know, and has sorted a little bit, but this is kind of new to him. So what I want to teach this horse is, if I step to these cattle, they're going to move away from you. I'm going to build confidence in him by allowing him to see that when he moves to these cows, he can move their feet. And just like with anything else with animals, the way that you establish dominance and that you establish confidence is by one animal being able to control the body movements of another animal, and in specific their feet. So here I'm just going to kind of move these cattle around in kind of a serpentine motion. This is how we started a lot of the cattle this last week, or the horse this last weekend on cattle. And we had Arabians, we had Foxtrotters, Morgans, every different type of horses, and English saddles. And really it was very successful. People are really surprised at how well their horses respond to this. So just like this, I'm going to let this horse see that if he steps up here to this herd, he can move the cattle. So after I'm able to kind of control the way the cows move, this is a very confident situation for this horse. You know, he knows that if he steps, he can drive these cattle and move them forward. So the first place that you kind of start getting into a little bit of a wreck, or get a horse that's a little bit nervous, is in getting him in the middle of the herd where you have cattle all the way around him. He's going to kind of feel like he's got a blind spot in the back of him, and that's the place that most horses will be the most nervous. So at a certain point here, I'm going to step in this horse through the center of the cattle and letting them move around him. And let him just see that this is fine. I'm going to move up here and just let him feel cows all around him. I'm going to say, that's a good boy. I'm going to go over here on the other side and do the same thing. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, all right, I moved my horse up here, and they're very afraid of the cows to start out. And one of the things that you need to remember is the horses are the least afraid when the cattle are in front of them. So there's a lot of people who have in their head that when my horse is afraid, I'm going to pull him around in a circle. And on cattle, that's not necessarily the best thing for you to do, because you're going to hit this pressure point back here that's a blind spot for your horse. So if my horse was here and these cattle were moving at him and he was acting a little bit nervous, the last thing I would want to do is pull him in a circle like this and pull him away from the cow or turn tail to the cow. That's probably going to make him more nervous than anything. What I'd want to do is keep his nose pointed here at the cattle and just let him watch him go by, try to keep him quiet, and let him see the cattle. So here again, I'm just going to walk him through the center and let the cattle move around him. Let him be comfortable with that. Pet on him and say, good boy, and let him follow him around. So when we're starting out a clinic and we're introducing people to cattle for the first time, and especially with ranch sorting in mind, that's kind of how we go about it. We like to just move cattle forward and away from them, and then we slowly start sorting off one cow at a time. But we like to make sure that the horse is very comfortable moving the entire herd before we start putting him in a bind and having cattle come at him. The only other thing that I wanted to say is when you're starting to introduce your horses to cattle, sometimes the people are more nervous than the horses are. So you want to be very cautious that you don't feel your horse make a little move and grab on him really quickly and kind of startle him when he's already a little startled. be very cool and calm about the way you move your hands. I mean, there may be a time that you need to take a hold of your horse, but for the most part, he might just jump a little bit. And if you can keep yourself calm, he's going to learn that cattle aren't a bad thing. He can be comfortable when he's here, and this is fun and enjoyable for both you and him. So if you want to find some more information about ranch sorting or introducing your horse to cattle, you can visit www.willfullyguided.com, or you can visit the Ranch Sorting National Championships website at www.rsnc.com. And remember, enjoy your horses.